Welcome back to Rock Guitar Confidential with Scott and Ryan. On today's episode, when you make something for everybody, you make it for nobody and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Stay tuned.
It was so delicious, I had to just talk about it on the podcast. Just, organically, just bring it up. Hey.
Right.
Well, I was sitting there in my True Classic underwear the other day.
And I do
about, my Magic Spoon cereal.
And I do, yeah, right. Exactly. Trademark brand name here. Magic Spoon is good stuff, man.
No, I know, I'm not trash. I'm just it's like when I love when podcasts like oh, is this part of the podcast? It's just organically in the podcast.
Yeah.
This will probably happen next.
The product placement.
I'm just
let's hope so.
I'm pre-ripping on myself for the hypocrisy I'm about to display, I'm sure, at some point.
Yeah, you know what? We live in a capitalist society, so
that's true.
We must capitalize.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's making money is no sin.
That's right.
And it's just making all the money that's the problem. All for me, none for nobody else.
Yes, exactly.
That leads to things like Mad Max.
Right.
That's what that looks like.
That leads to things like Mel Gibson.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm not looking forward to fighting bandits in the wasteland over gasoline and water.
No, just fighting CHP officers when they pull you over with racial slurs.
Oh, jeez, no.
That's Mel Gibson.
That's true.
Anyway,
yeah. Well, I mean,
that was my Mel Gibson.
That's current day Mel Gibson.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We didn't know all that stuff about Mel Gibson back in the Mad Max days. He was just a movie star back those days. Lethal Weapon days. We wouldn't known. But yeah, it's so funny.
So speaking of movies, man, we've got finally a nice weather day.
Oh, finally. Okay, the people who don't live in Northern California are not going to know what we're talking about. But it's a nice rainy
Yeah,
day.
Dude, we've got clouds. We've got
April
rain.
showers happening.
It's great. Well, hey, we're actually having a season.
Just looking forward to Mayflowers.
No, the April showers are good.
No,
we'll just stick with that.
Well, it leads to Mayflowers. This is the common thing.
Honestly, the April flowers have been trying to kill me, man. My allergies have been.
I thought that's your brand, dude. Isn't that cool? Killer flowers. Hell yeah.
Well, no, yeah, that's good point. Yes, that might be a good plot.
That's the best kind of flowers, man. The murderous ones.
Well, there's a movie called The Ruins where that's kind of the plot.
Oh, really?
It's like a killer.
Oh, I know. Killer
plant.
It's like a South American, like that. Yeah. So killer plants trying to kill people. Yeah. I guess that's the lesson is don't go to South America looking for things.
Or one of my favorite movies growing up was The Green Slime from like 1960 something.
Oh my gosh, that sounds
right.
Familiar.
Remember that where the green slimes grow in the spaceship and like kill everybody?
No, it sounds compelling. So it says, oh no, slime!
Yeah, dude, it like dudes in slime suits and the slime just grows out of control out of like a petri dish and like kills everybody. It's fantastic.
So it's okay. Well, maybe.
So
McDonald's is definitely working on that right now.
So Lee Cronin's The Mummy is in theaters and it's getting good reviews.
Have you seen it?
I've not. I need to. I think today might be the day. I might take myself to the movies.
Oh, well,
today.
Good for you, man. That
we'll see. You should come with me.
Well, I'm going to see The Mummy, but I'm going to see the Brendan Fraser Mummy. You know what I mean? Where him and Rachel Weisz try and save the world from an evil mummy. That's what I'm about. That's my speed.
Although that was one of the better roller coasters at Universal Studios this last Halloween.
Dude, I love the first two
No,
movies.
dude, this one, it's way better, dude. It's about like a little girl who like dies and gets mummified and then like murders. It's rated R. I love that.
I know that sounds exactly like
dude. It's so like it's not going to be family friendly at all. Like I'm pretty sure there aren't going to be any cute fucking aliens.
Yeah, I was gonna go.
It's going to be great.
I spent my ticket money on the Mandalorian and Grogu, so I'm not going to have any money left over to see the Mummy.
Please tell me you're kidding. Seriously, did you really go see the Mandalorian and fucking Grogu?
It hasn't come out. I'll be first in line. Maybe. Absolutely.
No, you don't want to reward Disney for that.
Oh my god, I love the Mandalorian.
Don't put man. No, just wait for it. Just wait for it to come out on Disney Plus. It'll eventually just get to Disney Plus.
Dude, it's gonna be badass. I can't wait to see it.
Don't give Disney any more money. Come on.
I will give Disney. Star Wars will get my money from now until time immemorial.
All right. Well, so that's why I've got to go. I have to go patronize. If there's an R-rated, not family-friendly horror movie in theaters, I've got to go spend my money on it.
Well, I just discovered something that's also actually it could be family-friendly, which is this new. Not new. They're a kick-ass band from Europe called Heat. HEAT that we were just checking. I showed Ryan this just a minute ago.
Yeah, dude, those guys rip.
Live stuff from Sweden Rock. It's so bad. It makes me actually take back the idea that all music sucks now because this kicks so much ass.
It does kick so much ass. Now the video that you showed me was from that Sweden Rock Festival. That was back in 2018,
which is not like 100 years ago.
8 years ago.
That
which
is
is
hard
wild.
to believe. It was 8 years ago.
Oh my god, right?
But I mean, Heat still exists to this day. And they kick ass too. I've heard some of the newer stuff, and it's totally badass too. It's just that's a band that just gets it. They come from a long generation of it getters. So I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah,
But,
so that's good.
So it was cool. I mean, it's got everything you want. So if you guys haven't heard this band, go check them out. It's I think they're from Sweden or Europe somewhere. Like, of course, because all good bands are not from here.
Right. They're all either from Europe or Japan
or Asia somewhere. Remember the Hard Boy?
Yeah, or
like,
Thailand.
Yeah, exactly. So there's like a bunch of killer bands from, and Glad Lex Legion. They're from Europe. It's so same
of
thing.
Course.
Yeah, of course. So I don't know why. I mean, why do you think that is? Why is it that Europe and Japan and pretty much everywhere else in the world is so far ahead of us in terms of rock and roll?
I don't know. I think we've talked about this before, but I mean, America thrives on
so much further ahead than us. I mean, it's like it's like they have iPads and we're like with sticks and twigs in the backyard.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a concerted effort to have a dumb population in the United States, right?
But I guess is that like a corporate interest that's being served by doing that?
I think so.
I
Yeah, it's always going to be money, right?
I think it comes down to just maybe there's something to that. I mean, maybe it's the people like.
I mean, you have a more easily manipulatable populace if you keep people stupid, right?
Yeah, but people have the opportunity to not be stupid. It's just a matter of
They do, well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, but do they? Like, if you're raised in a situation where you have to go to like an underfunded public school, I mean, look at the programming on MTV, right? Like, and then you start watching
still exists, really?
and then you watch Jersey Shore after going to your poorly funded public school, and then what? And you eat McDonald's all the time, right? Yes,
like
my 600-pound sister wives,
Bachelor and stuff. Yeah,
yeah. Just when everything around you is obviously anti-intellectual, then I mean, do you really have a chance?
Thank God for like Nate Smith and Luke Bryan. They're just really fighting.
Fuck. Yeah, dude. Now see, now I'm just. Oh, you know what? Okay, so I read an article the other day. It was sort of like an op-ed thing about. This is like some aunt or uncle or whatever, like had the kids watch Labyrinth with her.
The old school Labyrinth?
Yeah, like with Jennifer Connelly and David Bowie and all that, right?
Tom Cruise in that too, right?
No, he was in Legend.
That's what I'm thinking. Okay,
which is a Ridley Scott joint. Highly recommended.
Yeah, I'm a huge Ridley Scott fan. I like almost everything he's done. So
yeah. Tim Curry is the devil guy with the giant horns.
That's Labyrinth, though. So let's get back. So
Labyrinth. So she shows the kids Labyrinth, right? And like the kids got scared. As they should, because like that's what children's entertainment was. Like, it challenged you when you were a kid, and that like helps with your development, right?
So it wasn't as gentle as they were used to. They used to like much more
right.
gentle,
so everything
going from Paw Patrol to like Labyrinth is probably a pretty big jump.
Yeah, I think she called like modern like children's movies or like children's animated movies just like it's all vibes, and it's not there's just not really anything to the plot.
There's no meat on the bone. What you're trying to say?
No, absolutely not. So I think that's also
isn't
part
that the
of
plot to the Mummy, right? Meat on the bone.
Maybe it seems to be like I'll say that the main character, as she's been presented in the trailers, she looks rather desiccated.
Yeah.
As a mummy should be.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for it.
On account of the mummy in there.
It's definitely got some like Exorcist and which is high praise coming from me, and like Night of the Living Dead vibes. Yeah. It's I don't know. I think Lee Cronin's also been tapped to direct the next Alien film.
Oh, get out of town, really? Like next
something
movie?
like like Romulus 2, or I don't know what it's going to be called.
What's the series that just came out? Was Alien something, or was it Alien Earth? Alien Earth. That was.
Yeah.
Most recent.
I'm enjoying Alien Earth. A lot of people are not. I mean, look, everyone's going to rip on everything on the internet to make
bunch of haters everywhere.
There's a say like bears sound smart and bulls make money. I think it's kind of the same thing, right? Everybody thinks they sound smart when they're talking shit about stuff.
Yeah, it's just cool to be like, oh, that's
which we never do.
That's lame. Well, no,
which we never ever do.
When we talk shit, we have good reason to talk shit about.
That is true.
We have very well researched reasons for that, saying that's bullshit.
Anyway, so I guess I'm just making the point that it's big business selling like high margin cheap shit to stupid people.
So
I mean that's America right there.
Music. So but these corporations are all multinational corporations. Would you say it's because America's government's more in the pocket of the corporations, and there's not so much the case in Europe and Japan and South America?
I don't know. I think they're all. I mean, I don't know. They're almost.
I actually would see
almost one and the same.
You're pointing towards the top. I'm actually pointing towards the people. I think it's the people in Europe and Asia and South America are way less sort of worried about being the new hip. What's the new thing?
They've also they don't have.
They have stronger cultures that are not so like status driven. Did that make sense?
Well, absolutely. Plus, they're also like much more like socialized, and so people. I mean, people are just healthier in every possible way.
Yes, and
right?
that's actually not just, that's not even you having an opinion. That's just the fact.
There's data that backs that up, right?
It's true.
You know, they aren't getting destroyed by healthcare bills.
I think that still comes back to the same thing about the government and the corporations. You know, the corporations having the government in their pocket. You know what I mean? That's I think that's what it comes down to. I think that's much less so in Europe and Japan and South America. You know what I mean? And
so Americans are just, you know, it's just like, you know, not everyone, obviously, but I mean, there's definitely a culture
chunk of people who are not in that kind of.
It's just it's just a culture of cheap consumption in the United States, which doesn't exist in other parts of the world.
Status seeking too, and sort of like scorekeeping. Like I have this, you have that. I have this, you have that. That's that consumption thing. You know, if you have this car, I have this car. If you have this house, I have this house. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. It's like keeping score with each other. That kind of thing is a big part of it. It's an American thing. I mean, in Europe, like especially like in France and stuff, you'll have, you know, a person who's got like a $6,000 Armani suit living in a tiny little apartment because what they value is like, I value this, but I don't care about having the giant house. I value this, but I don't care about having a Jaguar, that kind of thing. So they'll put their money where it does them.
Oh, I totally get that.
Without the thought of I'm trying to keep score with the Joneses down the street or something like that. And I think that's a very American thing, and I think that leads to like, okay, like Coachella just happened, right? So like if you like said, you know, someone asked, like, you say you're 20 and you're at college and some girl asks you, hey, you know, hey, did you go to Coachella? And you said, oh no, I flew to Germany and went to Wacken. That doesn't have as much.
I think
social.
You'd be the coolest person in the world.
To some people, some people, but to some people, like, oh, what's Wacken? Oh, it's a heavy metal festival.
I think she'd be like, he has enough money to fly to Germany.
Okay, that's a good point, I guess.
Cool. But I think she'd be pretty jocked on that guy.
Not trying to make the scene. Potentially, I'm trying to say, because half people go to Coachella just want to say I went to Coachella. You know, that's
I mean, look, Coachella. There's a lot of stuff that's for people who don't really care about music. But I guarantee that everybody.
It's about making the scene. Yeah. People in Wacken go and they'll fucking camp out in the mud for a week to go see Blind Guardian.
Well, that's
the real shit right there.
That's metal culture, man.
Yeah,
that's what's so great about it, right? I mean, everybody cares about music.
The music's what they care about. Yes. Yeah. They love that band. They're going to go do whatever it takes to see that band. It's not like, oh, I'm going to go and check out all the booths and I'm going to go, you know, whatever. I'm going to just get all my Instagram pics about me at Coachella. I'm going to Coachella. Oh, we got a suite. Oh my God, look how cool this is. It's really about making the scene. It's about trying to like, look how cool I am. Look at where I'm at.
Yeah.
Whereas metal culture, if you went to like, you know, Bloodstock or Sweden Rock or Wacken, it's not about that at all.
No.
You know what I mean? It's just about seeing the bands.
It's about absolutely. It's about the music. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. That's
man. We got to fly to Germany and go to Wacken.
Damn right, dude.
We should broadcast from Wacken.
I'm down.
Okay, so there it is. So everybody keep listening so we can monetize, and then we'll start.
Exactly.
We'll broadcast from Wacken.
You guys can make our dream of going to Wacken come true. All right.
You guys can make your dream of our dream coming true.
And that'll be the year that Godsmack headlines.
Oh fuck!
God damn it! What happened?
Dude, I hope Wacken.
What happened?
That sounds like Aftershock.
That's true. That's the problem with Aftershock. Like our big American metal festival is basically 90s and 2000s like new metal nostalgia. That's all it is. You know, like I don't understand nostalgia for some of those bands. I don't get it.
No, not at all.
We survived that. We got out of it.
I was so happy when it was over.
It's like Boba Fett having nostalgia for the Sarlacc pit. It's like I got out of that thing. Well, I'm not going back into that thing. What are we doing? You know, it's like that's the way. It's really stupid. You know, to me, that's just not to bring up another Star Wars reference, but it's like,
dude,
man, remember time I was being slowly digested over millions of years? That was good time.
Oh, okay. So I've got more beef with Star Wars. Okay, no. So you just reminded me. So
oh God,
I also saw. Okay, so I also saw the ads for I had seen the chatter about they're going to do a series focused on Darth Maul, and I thought,
it's an animated series. Yep.
Fuck. Dude, super deformed, low detail, like animated.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Have you watched it? I mean,
I put on an episode and was like, what the fuck is this, dude? This looks like Saturday morning cartoons, man. They could at least like spend the money and do an anime or something.
Well, it's like what, 7 or 8 episodes? How many episodes is, do you know?
It's like 4 episodes.
Oh, it's really short.
Well, at least when I looked, but But no, it's like cute baby cartoon Darth Maul.
But he's killing people.
Fucking
and stuff, though, right?
No, it's fucking garbage. I didn't see anybody die. I just see low detail, like Saturday morning, like suitable for.
Is it kind of Clone Wars style? Is that
it's like suitable for. They may as well have just done like Lego Darth Maul, just like low detail. like it's made for 6-year-olds.
I'll have to watch it because I don't have an opinion because I haven't seen it. So, all right. So anyway, one of the things I wanted to get into today, and this is something I just think is like the most boss move I've ever seen in my life, and this is something that's been granted mine and many other people's gears for years, is that the great Iron Maiden finally got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They're going in this year.
Yep.
And the most boss move ever. I just found out that they said, "Yeah, fuck you. We're not going to be there, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We're going to be on tour in South America. You can go fuck off."
Love that.
How boss is that?
I love it.
You make us wait for 30 fucking years or whatever, 40 years to get in.
I love it.
We're not even going to show up. Fuck you.
You know what
I mean? That's so rock and roll. Yeah. That is so rock and roll, dude.
It's metal, dude. Yeah, I love it. That's the most rock and roll thing you could possibly do.
Yeah,
because rock is supposed to be the language of rebellion.
Exactly. Fuck you, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You know what I mean?
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's a joke.
It is a joke, but like, how, dude? I saw that and I'm like, instantly, I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I love it. I think it's so great. I hope that. God, I'm trying to think who else is the band that's been like, Iron Maiden's like one of the ones that's been really obvious for a long time that they've been snubbing.
Yeah, you know what I mean, Iron Maiden, they work their ass off, man. Like that band still tours. They're always
stadiums
touring
everywhere in the world.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like it's not like they're not relevant. They're like one of the biggest bands in the world. Period.
Iron Maiden's kind of like the James Brown of metal. Like I just take for granted that they're always playing an arena somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But they've got such a rabid fan base, and they've got a multi-generational fan base too. It's been passed from generation to generation to generation. You're as likely to see a 15-year-old as you are a 65-year-old at an Iron Maiden concert. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's gonna be everybody. You know what I mean?
Up the irons, man.
And
good stuff.
There's people who know about Iron Maiden who want to go just to say I saw Iron Maiden. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things. It's kind of like the Stones that way. There's a lot. Although the difference between Iron Maiden and the Stones, I think Iron Maiden genuinely has real fans. I think the Stones, it's like, I saw the Stones. I don't know anybody's passionate about Stones.
Dude, I saw the Rolling Stones like 30 years ago at Arco Arena. It's one of the worst concerts I've ever been to.
How'd you end up going to that show? That doesn't seem.
I don't even remember. It's been so long.
Tickets, hey, you want to come with me?
Yeah, it was one of those. Yeah, totally. Like I don't think I spent any money on it. It was.
Why would you? It's
Yeah, and it was just. Like Arco Arena was known for Echo Arena, right? Yeah. So
I saw Metallica there on the Black Album tour.
I'm sorry,
it was one of the worst sounding. It was so washy, I couldn't believe it. And Kirk had delay on his lead playing, and he had not only the delay on that, but the delay in the room was so crazy you couldn't hear anything.
So it was delay on delay.
It was like you couldn't hear anything. It was crazy. You know what I mean?
He sounded like a chicken.
It's easier to not get caught for your sloppy technique when everything's washing around and stuff.
Well, okay, so then amp up the sloppiness to infinity with Keith Richards, right? I mean, it was like they
turn it up and rip the knob off.
It was just like, yeah, man. It was just the loosest, just messiest.
That's the thing, though. That's his vibe.
It was like the sloppiest band with the worst mix.
Yeah, it's like a bad I don't know, like a lounge band, but with Mick Jagger singing.
I mean, I know.
It's like
I mean, I don't take it for granted when I say every song sounded like the same song. I mean, the Stones are already kind of that way, but it was just even worse. So it was just like 2 hours of the same crappy, sloppy, like blues shit. It was not good.
It's really just generic, kind of boring ass, same old stuff.
Jangly, right?
Yeah, and all these like capos and ultra tunings and stuff because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And anyway, and those guys had the balls to say some shit about Metallica too back in the day too. It's like fuck them. Also, there's never been a bigger chasm between like the reputation of a band and like I don't know anybody who's a huge Stones fan. Nobody. Older people, younger people, I don't know. I mean, it's anecdotal, but
I can appreciate.
They must have somebody, but I don't know any of them. You know what I mean?
That generation is in the process of leaving us now, except for Keith Richards himself,
who will never die.
Right.
He'll be here in some form or fashion forever.
Yes, he's having
not even the AI. He'll just be.
He's having all of his blood swapped out right as we speak.
Exactly.
I'm sure.
Virgin's blood coming in.
Yes, the virgin's blood coming in, and then
sustains him.
And then he'll get up out of his coffin like right around like 8 p.m. I think.
Yeah.
Well,
anything
8 or 9
guitar.
Totally.
Where we can keep them from the guitar, that's a good thing. But Iron Maiden, though, like they have a gigantic fan base. And
they do.
People who are Iron Maiden fans are genuinely passionate about Iron Maiden.
And that includes my cousin Mark, who for Christmas his wife decided to get him an Iron Maiden shirt.
Okay.
But she bought it from like Etsy, so it's not like a real Iron Maiden shirt. No, it's like AI Iron Maiden, right? So it's got like it says Iron Maiden in like the wrong font.
Oh God!
And then there's like a butterfly on it or something, like as if
maybe Iron Butterfly.
Right? Yeah. So now he still wears it, which is great because he's a good person. But that reminds me, I need to get my cousin some some actual Iron Maiden gear.
Yes, I mean you can find it anywhere. Just go like the freaking,
go to fucking Kohl's.
I know exactly. Target's got Iron Maiden shirts.
Yeah, I'm sure J.C. Penney has Iron Maiden shirts.
Exactly. I know really, the fact they do actually. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, they definitely do. Absolutely.
Okay, I still hate that.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad Iron Maiden is successful, but I hate that you can buy metal band T-shirts at Kohl's.
Well, that's been the
JCPenney.
case for about 10 years.
I know it's a status quo.
Judas Priest has got songs on State Farm insurance commercials. You know what I mean?
I don't mind that so much. It's weird just what little things rub you the wrong way. Like I miss going to London Rock Imports next to the guitar shop to get band
T-shirts.
No,
exactly. Yeah.
Like you had to go to some specialty retailer where they also did.
And they had the real deal stuff, and so you walk in, it's kind of dangerous in there a little bit. You know? What I mean?
Like the guys that owned it were like from Pakistan or something like that, or they were like Iranian or whatever. And as a teenager, that felt even like cooler and like sort of seedier for some stupid reason.
It's like there's who knows what's going on in here, man.
Well, shit. When I was going in there, that's like during like the first Iraq War.
Then like 91-ish?
Yeah, like 91, like right around then. Yeah. And so like there were these, for all I knew, there was just, they were the coolest guys. They pierced my ears on multiple occasions.
Yeah, it might have been Uday and Hussein themselves.
Right. Yeah. And so like it just added to the cool vibe. It's like, okay, there's these like two Middle Eastern guys running this place that sells shit that
called London Rocks, which
called London Rock Imports. Yeah. And they sell this shit that my parents hate.
Yeah.
I love this place.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. I remember London.
And I'll tell you, Kohl's is definitely not a place my parents hate.
No, it's true. No. But that they just shows you like how integrated into the mainstream that's become. Yeah. Which is the thing I don't get about the snubbing them for like 40 years. It's like I don't get it at all. Like they should have gone in. Like because here's the thing, and I'll just throw this out because it pisses me off.
I think I remembered the topic idea.
Well, okay. Well, hang on. We'll get back to that. That's Ryan just had an epiphany.
Well, you just said mainstream, and it fits with what we're talking.
Let's just put it this way, though: that Nirvana didn't have to wait. They went in the first minute they were able to get in, they got in. So why does Iron Maiden have to wait for 40 years and Judas Priest has to wait for 40 years, but freaking Nirvana goes in the first ballot?
Well, so think about what mainstream like means, right? So one of the reasons the Black Album sucks so much is that it was designed to appeal to a wider audience, right? Okay, so now those extra people that are you're piling on board into your audience. Those people to whom you're appealing, those people have what is known as bad taste.
Thanks for listening to the Rock Guitar Confidential podcast with Ryan and Scott. Please make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. Now back to the show. Well,
right. So in order
they're
to
mainstreamers, dude, they just like whatever.
Right.
Whatever
so in order to be, so when you appeal to more people, then you have to make your thing suck more. Which then, so my theory, that explains Nirvana entirely. Right.
Well, Nirvana's like the avatar for when the whole industry did a whole shift. They just said, we're going this way instead of that way. But
yeah, we're going to appeal to the widest. We're going to appeal to the widest possible
audience. That doesn't answer the question, though. Why is it that they didn't have to wait? Like, who the fuck decided Nirvana to go the first one? I mean, like,
because the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a mainstream institution, right? It appeals to people who have bad taste.
Well, I don't know, man. There's a lot of great bands in that, though. I mean, but if you look at all the bands who are great, they had to wait. Like, dude, Van Halen didn't go right off the bat. Yeah. Rush didn't go, and Rush had to wait for 30 years, 30 plus years. Thank God Neil Peart was still alive when they got inducted. But like Deep Purple, John Lord wasn't alive when they got inducted. You know what I mean?
So
Tommy Boy wasn't alive.
So every now and then they have to they're still called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So I guess they have to give a nod to something that resembles rock and roll, right? But I mean, that's probably the only reason why. I mean, if they would just change the name of the institution to the mainstream slop Hall of Fame.
Yeah. But there's there's great bands in that too, though. It's like I'm not shitting. Like Black Sabbath and Ozzy are both in there. And those are great. Iron Maiden is going in. Purple, Rush, Metallica's in. Van Halen's in. There's a lot of great bands that are in.
Which is fine, but I mean, do they really care?
No, that's what I mean. I think the thing that pisses me off is these sort of like, you guys have to wait your time. You're not going to get in because we just decided you're not as cool as Nirvana or Pearl Jam. They're going in first time. Rage Against the Machine's going in first time. You know what I mean?
I like Rage Against the Machine.
I like Rage. I'm just saying, but they shouldn't go in before Deep Purple goes in. That doesn't make sense.
No, I don't think, and I think Tom Morello would probably agree with you.
He would totally agree with that.
So that's the thing too. Like the artists, I don't. I don't think there's any artists
I'm not
out
blaming
there.
the artists who are going in faster. I'm blaming
Yeah.
the institution. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, why does this band, like, how many albums does Iron Maiden have to sell? How many millions and millions of worldwide fans they have to be? How much influence on music do they have to have before you decide they're worthy of getting in, instead of waiting 40 years to let them in? You know what I mean? It's to me, it's just ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree. I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah. I mean, it's a mainstream thing, and in order to make something mainstream, you have to cater to people who like things that suck.
Okay, but you could argue that Iron Maiden's got as many fans, if not more fans, than Nirvana has. I mean, it's like, I don't see, like, I don't know. Like, is it appealing to the fan base that they care about, you think? Or is it more like, see, I think it's more than that.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
I think it's more than that.
There's a lot of.
I think there's an ethos. I'll cut right to the quick on this. I think there's an ethos of the people who started that institution, of like the punk rock ethos from like the early mid 70s through like the late 70s.
Sure.
And they saw all bands with like a lot of skill as shitty. Like, they hated that like bands, like, if you look at like all the progressive bands like Rush and Deep Purple and like Genesis and Yes, those kind of bands, and go into the late 70s, early 80s, look at bands like Styx, Kansas, those kind of bands like that. They hated that stuff. They hated like Iron Maiden and Priest because it was like, and Van Halen for that matter. They really hated Van Halen.
Yeah, I can see
because of the virtuosity, and because of the fact it was like almost, they called it elitist. This is like the salt of the earth stuff. That's elitist music. That's like, Muso stuff, or like,
that's crazy. I've
pompous assholes and stuff like that.
I've never thought of Van Halen as elitist. I thought, Van Halen was totally like the everyman's music.
I think that, and you think that, but to a punk artist, like the punk people didn't think that. They thought, because of Eddie Van Halen's ridiculous virtuosity, they didn't appreciate that. You know what I mean? They thought,
that's lame.
There's an ethos in that world where they think that virtuosity is not appropriate in rock music. That's something that's bullshit. That's not that kind of, that the more great the band is, the more awesome the music is. They hate, for whatever reason. It seems like if you look at all the bands that they love, they're the bands that are not great at music. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on who you talk to, right? Like, as a counter, I mean, if you listen to like Henry Rollins like talk about things, I mean, he's like punk royalty. But he has a deep and abiding love for Van Halen and Black Sabbath and like Deep Purple, all of those great bands.
Yeah,
right?
but it's not so much the artists themselves. I'm sure that, well, with the exception of Nirvana, because I know that Kurt Cobain was a complete fucking douche.
Yes.
But like the rest of those bands, I mean, you gotta look at
if you know what you mean.
Yeah, fuck him.
If we know what you mean, Scott.
Yeah. But no, Pearl Jam, the guys in that band were huge Scorpions and UFO fans and stuff like that. There's all those guys like had their, Sabbath for Soundgarden. A lot of those bands were really into the metal bands.
Yeah,
with the one exception being Nirvana, it was just fucking bullshit.
Yes, right.
But there's also that it's more.
It's funny. So you were talking about like who's got more fans. Like, I was driving home the other day, and I saw this kid like walking down the street with like, I just couldn't tell what the band shirt was, right?
Okay.
And as I got closer and closer, like I finally like saw it was a Nirvana shirt.
And so you ran him down in cold blood.
I felt so bad for the kid because I just had the feeling that, like, you know what, like your parents bought that for you at Kohl's.
Yeah, but he probably asked for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder how that happens.
What's funny is a lot of times their parents were big Nirvana fans.
Well, right. That's like so their parents just bought it for them at Kohl's.
Can you imagine passing that down? Isn't that like passing chlamydia down to your
kids?
Right.
I was going to say it's like herpes or something.
I know. Why would you pass that down? Like, pass down something good to your kids.
Well, I mean, that's just how insidious, like, bad taste is in culture, right? So
I'm still arguing Nirvana doesn't have as many fans as Iron Maiden worldwide. Not even close.
Yeah, I don't. So I don't know how. I guess my point is I don't know how to quantify that, right? The kid didn't accidentally get an Iron Maiden shirt. The kid accidentally, if my theory is correct.
I think that there's just in America. I think this is very much in America. If you go to any other country in the world, there's not even a discussion of which band's bigger. Only in America would that be a discussion. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of stuff like, it's like soccer is hugely popular all around the world, and I mean it's getting more popular in the States, but it's not ever going to be as big as it is in like Spain.
It's not going to be NFL football or something like that.
Right. Nothing is dethroning NFL football.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make though is that the Nirvana is only really seen as a big deal here. You know what I mean? It's not like seen as a big deal other places.
It really is weird how I swear there's a ton of kids who get gifted a fucking Nirvana shirt because it's on sale at Kohl's or JCPenney. And this is how insidious the bad taste in this country is, right? Then and the kid probably has no idea like who they are, but then
dude, half those kids think it's a fashion brand,
right? But yeah, totally.
Seriously,
it's like it's
like Dolce and Gabbana or something like that. It's like
it's like, have you ever seen? There's this phenomenon of like t-shirts and clothing going to like third world countries, right? Where people
losing the Super Bowl people.
Well, or it's kind of like that, but it's like, so they can't read, they don't read English, right? So they get these t-shirts that have like, just like the foulest shit written on them.
What?
So like, yeah. So imagine like,
like Los Angeles Rams, Super Bowl champions, that kind of thing.
No, like imagine like your grandma walking around in a T-shirt that says "Go fuck yourself."
Oh, okay, yeah,
right. Well, but she doesn't know it says that.
No harm,
it's just the T-shirt.
Like language like that, we wouldn't know what the symbols mean, but it means that
it would be that would be like that if it were over here. If it were like written in like Mandarin or something, like I'm a fucking douche. Yeah. And you'd walk around with that T-shirt all the time, but you have no idea what it said, right?
Yep.
It's like the college kid that has like, kanji like tattooed on their arm, but it's the wrong, doesn't say what they think it said.
What a great decision.
Oh man, that'd be great.
Decision. Oh my God.
Well, anyway, so I kind of like, that's also kind of how I feel for that kid. It's like, oh man, you really don't know what that means. You poor kid. And then he's instantly going to feel obligated to like that band because he has the T-shirt. So he might listen to it and
also their parents probably are
not really like
that a little bit too. Like, hey, this band. Well, clearly, I grew up on this band. Check them out.
They think it's totally safe and innocuous. Here. Have this shirt. It's a band shirt.
The fact that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has been so anti like hard rock metal and progressive metal rock that for as long as they have been has led to things like the Metal Hall of Fame and stuff like that. They have that in LA. They'll have like every NAMM show they'll have a ceremony inducting different artists in the Metal Hall of Fame.
Nice.
But it always feels kind of just like it's
the Metal Hall of Fame is a different institution.
Yes, but it doesn't feel like, it feels kind of like second class. Like, okay, we're having our little thing over here. It's just,
so that's kind of, I mean, that's always how metal's been though, right? Yeah. Like
so you're saying that fits the ethos.
Metal is about power for the underdog.
Yeah. Well, not celebrating the man.
And it's the language of rebellion, but it's about making the powerless feel powerful. That's why it appeals to, young people still.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why it'll never die.
Yeah.
Right? Because it just did, like Iron, like those bands all made, when I was a bullied kid, like it made me feel empowered. And so I picked up a guitar and then became actually empowered.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's true. And I think that, not to sound too hopeful, but it's like, I feel like that there's a newer generation, like the younger kids, like people like 10, 11, 12 nowadays are looking for something else. They're not as satisfied with like the scrolling and like the Instagram is like the people like right before them, like the 5 or 6 year olds.
Yeah. I mean, they always do.
They're looking for something. I'm hoping that what they find is like rock and roll and the ethos of rock and roll.
I mean, that's what the tragedy of the 90s was, is you had a generation of young people who wanted culture to call their own, right? Mm-hmm. The problem is that MTV was like, okay, here, have a shit sandwich.
Yeah, here's your culture. Yeah.
And they're like, oh, nom nom nom, I love this shit.
Oh my God.
Nom nom nom.
Yeah, I think
more shit sandwich. Nom 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 nom.
Yeah, no.
Right. Is that corn?
Yeah.
Nom 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 nom. Oh, it's a band. Yeah.
Oh, no, it's Limp Bizkit. That's what this is in here.
I'll have some sandwich corn in my shit sandwich on 2 slices of Limp Bizkit.
Exactly.
Thank you.
And then 30 years later after we survived that shitstorm, then let's headline Aftershock. Perfect. Let's go pay to see Limp Bizkit and corn. It's
you mean that shit sandwich storm.
That shit sandwich storm, exactly.
Yes.
But we like the I don't know. I'm so ashamed of our generation, dude.
So anyway,
I apologize to my poor students. Like, I'm so sorry, man. It was us that did this.
So what's important is that this new generation that wants something new, they'll be rebelling against other stuff,
mediocrity,
right?
Dude, because everything that they've been fed their whole lives is mediocre bullshit, and they know it. They're smart enough to fucking know it. That they're not just like going along. I really appreciate that. It's like,
dude, I saw a thumbnail for like a critique video about criticizing Tim Henson.
Oh God!
And someone in the comments section made a comment, because that's what comment sections are for.
So there's a whole video just talking shit about Tim Henson?
Kind of, yeah. I didn't watch the whole
thing. They're saying his puppets weren't as good.
Right, his Muppets weren't as good. After they frightened all those children in Labyrinth.
Exactly, Dark Crystal, right?
Right. After what they tried to do to Jennifer Connelly.
Don't touch Jennifer Connelly.
No,
she's a goddess.
Yes, that includes you, Paul Bettany, your husband. Anyway,
who I assume have had a platonic relationship this whole time they've been married, right? Yeah.
Anyway, so man, so where was I going with all that?
Do you think he had like the horse installed in the house so you can just have her like from career opportunities?
The horse,
you could ride that little horse, that like little metal horse that she was riding on or whatever.
Oh yeah, that would be dope.
Dude, like just in the corner of the bedroom or something, like, honey, can you? Yeah. Okay.
Man, that's some kinky shit there, Scott.
Okay, sorry. Opening the door a little too much. I assume Paul Bettany's like the rest of us. Come on, it's like
so the guy in the comments section said like he's always interpreted like he thinks Tim Henson's a person who grew up listening to autotune. So then that's why he plays and sounds like autotune.
Yeah. And hip hop and electric music too, and somehow ended up playing guitar, which is crazy. But.
And I guess there was a situation like where when they were doing their collaboration with Steve Vai, they were on stage or whatever, and Vai wanted to like
improvise,
and he just could not improvise. It was weird,
That's not weird. As you can tell by the way he plays, he sits and works everything out perfectly. Yeah, and I have a lot of respect for his ability. I think you can't become the player of that caliber and not put all the work in. He definitely put the work in, but he didn't build that skill set. His skill set is just I'm going to sit and work these things out. You know what I mean? And I mean I don't dig his music at all, but I still respect him as a. Oh my God!
Nice.
That's Paul Bettany angry that I was saying something about Jennifer Connelly right now. Just all that.
Big thunder.
Thunderclap. All right.
Yeah. Hell
yeah. But I think that, I mean, I'm kind of torn on Tim Henson because on one hand, a lot of my younger, or like my teenage, like the 18-year-old students are really into his playing and got inspired to play because of him.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I respect that. And he's a great player. He definitely is. But yeah, I mean, this is a different skill set. Improvisation is something that mattered to people like Vi and Satriani. That was a big part of what they did.
Yeah. So what I'm
hoping
hoping,
would show up famously and jam with everybody. That was just kind of that was what you did back in their generation.
Very, very like off the cuff. Yep. The hardest thing for the solo, I was just fortunate enough to contribute to the upcoming Lunar album.
That's right. Really great, really kick-ass solo.
Well, thank you very much,
really
dude.
Good.
Yeah, so that was a real challenging project for me because I was soloing in between two other pieces of music, and I'm not playing over anything. Yeah. So it's weird, like just
sort of eruption adjacent.
It's the most eruption-y thing I've ever done. Right? I didn't record it using a metronome. And I did not compose it.
Yep. But the fact that it came out so good is a really good. That's a huge indicator of your skill and your talent as a player.
Oh, well, dude, thanks, man. I wasn't fishing. I know
you weren't fishing, but I just
felt about it.
I felt that way when I heard you play. That's sounds kick-ass.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to everyone getting to hear it when the new Lunar album releases. And I don't know when that is, but we'll let you know as soon as maybe we'll have Alex on the program.
Definitely.
So anyway, the new generation that's coming up, I mean, I'm hoping that what they'll be rebelling against is auto-tune, AI slop.
Yeah, mediocrity in the music, though. I think,
no shade on Tim Henson, but like that style of playing has had its moment.
I don't dig his playing at all or his music, but he's a great player. From a technical standpoint, I can't say anything bad about the guy, but I think that his music isn't for me.
I hope they find something that has some sort of like connection to the blues somehow.
Yeah, or at least rock and roll ethos. There's like at least some rock and roll
which has blues in there, right?
Even if it's not like straight up blues, but it's like a rock and rollness to it. That's one thing. A lot of these great guitar players who are coming out now, like the really great virtuoso players who are they're all
holy shit.
Yeah. Nice. That's the
wow. That made the room shake.
I think does Tim Henson have more connections than we think? Maybe I don't know.
Maybe that touched down very close.
Well. We'll see what happens, but
yeah, I'm glad my car's in the garage.
Yeah, mine isn't. Thanks, man. But no, I think that whole generation, there's not any rock and roll to the things they do, and that's the thing that bums me out about it. Is there's not any rock and roll. There's not like anything that rocks about anything they do. It's very much I worked this out in my basement, and it's perfect, and here we go, and it's got it's got cool elements to it. It's got world music going on, all that kind of stuff. But I just feel like I don't know. It's not for me. I think that because there's no rock and roll, that's why it's not for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I get that completely.
I think sometimes I feel the same way about some of the symphonic metal too, in a weird way. Like I feel like there's not any like down and dirty rock and rollness to it. It's very lilting and operatic and stuff. Like the thing, like
who?
Oh, I'm trying to think of bands like Within Temptation, Nightwish. What is?
There's something like a band like Nightwish,
Amaranth. Bands like that. There's like oh my gosh, what's the other one?
There's a heavy like keyboard aspect that I don't.
It's keyboard
like.
And orchestral forward, and not like rock riffs. It's
it's like digital keyboard. It's not like overdriven Hammond organ through like a Marshall amp,
stuff.
Right, or that
really
either.
Shredding your face,
right?
Yeah, it's very European, and I like it on one level. It's kind of similar to the Tim Henson thing. It's like on one level I appreciate it because it's great musicianship.
It's like Kenny G, right? Kenny G has forgotten more about music than I'll ever know. I mean, he's a virtuoso. It's just I find his music entirely unappealing.
Yeah, but that's what's crazy about art though too. But he's a great musician.
Yeah, no doubt.
A lot of those bands, like the reason that some of them symphonic metal bands aren't for me. Like I'm really thinking like a lot of the female fronted European metal bands. It's just for that reason. It's there's not like a rockness to it. It doesn't have like this sort of like ballsy rock and roll thing. And I don't know, I want a little bit of Van Halen or AC/DC or Aerosmith in there, along with the proggy.
Yeah,
stuff,
which has like blues at its core.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, there has to be like some. I don't mean it has to be like forward blues rock, but it just has to have like some of it in the DNA somewhere.
Yeah.
It
can't be all completely, eighth notes. Some swing's got to be in there somewhere.
There's got to be a swing. There's got to be some expressive bending somewhere.
Yeah. Which is another thing I will never forgive Tim Henson for, is the whole boomer bends crap. It's
well, and that's why I've,
that's something that's why
that's why I interpret that as like his music has no connection to the blues.
Yeah. Well, also, it means usually when someone's talking shit about a certain thing, it means that they're bad at that thing. It's like,
his music. I don't want to listen to music that its only connection is to algebra.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
My math homework. Here, look at my math homework. It's so good. It's like, well, way to go, buddy. You did good, Skipper.
Right.
Right on. I can see all the angles perfectly. Oh,
that's great.
Yeah. But who didn't think about that is every other band in rock music.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like even rock bands like Dream Theater. Like there's a rock and rollness to Dream Theater. There's much as they're proggy, and they are really proggy, or Rush. Some of those bands like that from that generation. There's still a rock thing to what they do. They clearly grew up listening to like Priest and Maiden and that kind of stuff. And
well, I mean, Rush like came up at the same time as Priest.
No, I'm thinking Dream Theater.
Oh yeah,
primarily. But Rush. Well, Rush is Zeppelin. It was like, and like Yes, and then that's kind of their big influences, that kind of thing, and a little bit of the Who. That kind. You can tell.
I could see that.
You can hear it in their music. You know what I mean? Because Yes was there like maybe 7-8 years before they showed up on the scene, and there's a little bit of AC/DC in there somewhere in some places too. They came up right concurrently with AC/DC. You know what I mean? But Dream Theater and then Queensryche, Fates Warning, that era, Watchtower, bands like that who came up in that time period. There was definitely like a Maiden, Priest, Zeppelin, and then there's like the Yes Genesis thing happening, and then there's like the early thrash metal thing happening. So all that stuff kind of came together, but there's still like you can hear like the Zeppelin, Van Halen kind of vibe happening, and even though the music's very complicated, you know what I mean? It's still there. I think that the next generation after that, I actually just recently been deep diving into because of Pagan's Mind. I kind of gone back and really
dude, my buddy at my buddy Micah at Skips, dude, he's, as soon as I mentioned Nils K. Rue, he was like, Legion, dude, Pagan's Mind. Yeah, I guess he's a big fan of their 2001 or 2002 album.
Yeah, great stuff. I've been checked that. I found those guys. I went back and checked out Threshold, which is another band I really liked in that time period, like the early mid 2000s, kind of, and the reaction to Dream Theater bands. Like Dream Theater happens, and then bands like Shadows Fall, Shadow Gallery,
like Magnitude 9,
like Cairo, Threshold, that kind of thing. There's another band I just found called Withem. Withem.
I'm with him.
I don't know what it's about, but they're pretty damn good. I was surprised. I watched that they're playing the Prague Power Festival, and I just wanted
yeah. I think
them out, and I was like, oh, those guys are killer, man. They got some great stuff, and there's a few other bands I'd recently come across too that I think are like was it Atrion? I want to say is another one like that. There's a few bands that they kind of skirt the line between prog and power metal.
Yeah, nice.
Thing, you know what I mean? And
so the Prague Power Festival is perfect for them.
Yeah, exactly. Totally is. But what's crazy about that is those guys to me are like a reaction to Queensryche, Dream Theater, Fates Warning, kind of that era. It's like so it's like an echo of that. They came back afterwards, so it kind of skipped over the Yes, Genesis, Rush era, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But now I kind of see prog as kind of all over the place, and I think unfortunately a lot of people think prog is Animals as Leaders and Polyphia. That's what people think.
I mean,
prog is now.
It is proggy.
It is definitely
what I mean?
proggy.
Like prog as defined as pushing the boundaries of traditional like song craft and structure
and music,
right? and music itself, and genre.
Yeah, it's almost genreless.
Exactly.
Kind of but it doesn't have that like Queensryche, Fates Warning, Dream Theater kind of like ballsy rock and metal thing at its core. It doesn't, and not there's hooks and melodies aren't even a thought.
So there you go.
You know what I mean? Yep. And that's kind of something that bums me out. Now we've wandered very far away from how terrible the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is. I think there's zero chance that Dream Theater gets in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
No, definitely not. But again, who cares? I mean, so this is like a speech I used to give to some of my Stairway bands. Every year I'd want them to place, right?
And every year they would not place? Or?
That they would, if they didn't place, I'd say, like, look, do you think Slash from Guns N' Roses cares about placing in a contest?
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He's Slash.
Yeah, he's too busy, shooting heroin into his penis. So it's like...
No, I think that was Steven Adler, the drummer.
Oh, okay.
I think he was the one doing the big drumstick. Yeah. So,
Still alive somehow. Still alive. I'll give it this. Right. He's found a way. Yeah.
So just like Iron Maiden, they're like, fuck you, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We're actually outdoing it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's better. I just kudos to them for being doers.
Yeah, when I saw Iron Maiden, was just like big middle finger to you guys. We're not even going to show up. Fuck you.
I mean, they have
how great is that?
I mean, they have their own airplane.
Dude, the other thing is Steve Harris has done so many interviews where he was talking all kinds of shit about punk rock. It was so great.
I love it. Well, yeah, because they started off
I absolutely fucking hate punk rock. He's like, well, you got to. He's like, no, I don't have to give them anything. Fuck them. They kill proper music. That's exactly what he said.
Nice.
He's talking to that guy Sam Dunn for Banger Films.
Yeah. The guy who did the.
Well, you have to give it credit for the sex. He's like, no, I don't have to give it credit to anybody. Fuck them. They destroyed proper music.
I love that.
Steve Harris had no fucks given, dude. He was just like, I was.
And you know what? And Steve Harris is a bass player.
Yeah, exactly.
So good on him.
But he's also the driving force of that band. You know what I mean?
He is. And he kind of plays bass like guitar.
He's such a badass dude.
He's such a badass. He absolutely is.
You can always tell too when there's the riffs. Like a lot of the stuff, the classic Iron Maiden stuff, those riffs are definitely Steve Harris riffs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That he wrote on bass.
I might have this.
I don't give bass players too much credit, but like he'll deserve that.
I think I've got this right, but like Steve Harris's kid has a band, and I'll do some research to find out like what that band was. But Richie Faulkner from Judas Priest came from Steve Harris's kid's band.
What, was it Steve Harris's kid? Yeah, you're right. It's like his daughter's band.
Yeah, it's like his daughter's band, right?
So
yeah,
that's her solo band, and then and then they found out about him, and then Priest.
Pretty cool.
And now he's like, I can't even imagine Judas Priest without Richie Faulkner. Now he's been in the band for so long. And he contributed such killer stuff to Priest. I mean, this
totally like a Priest Mark II kind of thing.
This whole resurgence of them is definitely very Richie driven. You know what I mean? I think, which is so cool. I mean, what an awesome opportunity for him, and what he took it and he ran with it, dude.
It makes me wonder when Kiss just needs to hire actors to play the parts and then get back out on the road with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a tribute band.
I think they got the avatars is the next big thing. They're gonna
it was so cringy because they were just like, it like the avatars looked like the CGI for the avatars looked about 10 years old.
You mean like they're for a 10-year-old? Oh, I mean like 10-year-old ago technology.
Yeah. It seems like they could have. It was just a little.
It's like 2014 tech. That's what you're trying to say.
Something like, something about it seemed like tonally it was just kind of, it didn't hit the mark.
Well, I know they did a small tour of the Dio Disciples with the Ronnie James Dio hologram singing and on some of those things.
Yeah, how did that go?
I hadn't seen any shows, but I know that happened. I saw some YouTube videos of like what it was like, and
that just bums me out because it reminds me he's dead.
Yeah, but it's also kind of strange. So you have like Craig Goldie and some of the guys from the band are actually playing under there, but then you have the Dio hologram and. Yeah, it's kind of weird, And I love Craig Goldie, and I think that
he seems like he's a great guy.
There's some great stuff he did with Dio, but I would always want to hear the first 3 albums. If I was going to see a Dio, I would we mostly lean towards the first 3 Dio albums.
I love Sacred Heart.
Sacred Heart's Vivian. That's Vivian Campbell.
Oh, yeah. He recorded that and then quit.
Yeah, they fired him.
They fired him
afterwards. I think he did the first leg of the tour. Then he says, "Hey, Ronnie, how about that raise you talked to me about?"
I would like some more money, please.
And he's like, "Yeah, we're just going to get this other guy. That's cool, and we're going to start over again." It's almost like, what?
There's some good stuff on Lock Up the Wolves.
Oh, dude, that's Rowan Robertson. That was much later.
Yeah, man. There's some good stuff on Dream Evil.
Yeah, Dream Evil is Craig Goldie. That's Craig Goldie.
Yeah.
And there's great stuff on that. You're right. Yeah. Like All the Fools Sailed Away. That's cool. So there's some really good stuff on that. No, that's what I was saying. I appreciate what Craig Goldie did with Dio. I think he did great stuff. But the best stuff they did was those first 3.
Oh God, for sure.
So Holy Diver, Last in Line.
I mean, Holy Diver is just fucking legendary.
Last in Line is probably my favorite one, dude. I love Last in Line.
Last in Line's a great album.
And Lock Up the Wolves is badass too.
I'm going to give the edge to Holy Diver just because like Satan's throwing a priest into a lake and he's all chained up and like the priest looks all scared and shit. So like I got to give it to that one.
Holy Diver and Rainbow in the Dark are on that album too. So it's
I think Rainbow in the Dark is pound for pound the greatest metal song.
It's killer. It's
like the great. Like if aliens like landed in my backyard and were like, "Human, what is metal?"
I'd be like, "This is metal." Last in Line's a great tune.
It is. It's a great tune.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's
Vivian, I could listen to Rainbow in the Dark every day of my life and never get sick of it.
Yep, it's true. Yeah. That's why I was so excited when it was like the ending song of the last Thor movie. Like they would go to the credits and it's like, "There's the Rainbow in the Dark." I'm like,
wow,
fuck yeah, dude! Like all these like 12-year-olds who've never heard metal are hearing Rainbow in the Dark.
Well, that's good.
That's so great.
Is that the one that had Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher?
Yes, it was directed by Taika Waititi. Yeah.
Taika
Waititi, like he said, like one of the things he wanted for that movie, he wanted it to sound like a fucking shredding guitar solo. That's what we wanted the solo to be like, or the album, the movie to be like. Yeah, like that's how cool is that? If you put your freaking
maybe I'll watch it.
And you put like Guns N' Roses in that, and there's Dio music. There's like some killer.
Yeah, I remember hearing lots of Sweet Child of Mine in association with the film.
Yep. They had basically like that one.
They should have done Mr. Brownstone.
They did Paradise City and they did Welcome to the Jungle in the movie. That was actually featured heavily in the movie.
They should have slipped in Mr. Brownstone.
That's true.
And then the kids could research and be like, oh, this song's about shooting heroin in your dick.
Steve Adler wrote the whole thesis on this whole thing.
Right?
He spent so many years of field research getting
so this is the film where Thor picks up his heroin addiction.
All right, well that's all I had to say about it. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame fucking sucks. I know it's been said before. I saw that. I just thought, what a boss move.
Yeah, and
I'm so glad that they could do it. You know, it's hell yeah.
And you know, and when you try to make something for everybody, then you make something that's for nobody.
Well,
right, and then so that's what mainstream is, right? You have to make your stuff appeal to people who have bad taste, and we don't want those people like running the culture.
No.
But you know, shout out to my cousin Lisa. It was her birthday yesterday.
Are you associating her with bad taste?
Yes. Oh no, she has chronic bad taste. She's got very, very bad taste.
Okay.
Yeah, really bad taste.
I don't know. I can't
like if Garth Brooks is playing somewhere, like I'm sure she's excited about it.
Oh my God.
She probably listens to a lot of like Hillsong worship music.
Oh yeah.
It's just so bad.
Yeah,
oh my God. Oh dude, yeah, man, I had to listen to some worship music last week.
What do you mean had to listen to?
Well, I teach music for a living.
So we had a student come in and says, I want to learn these songs, and it's like...
Dude, oh, man, just the cringiest Christian hipsters I've ever seen, dude. That's why
students or the people who in the band?
In the video.
Oh, okay,
video, yeah. And, like, I guess, like, one of the performers, his name was... David Bowe. I was like, what the fuck is my last name doing on this?
Is it spelled like your name?
Yes.
Oh,
it was identical.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm not related to this guy. Like,
hope not.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I can't be associated with this garbage. So anyway, so, you know, I mean, yeah. So, yeah, it was Lisa's birthday yesterday. And so every year on 420, I assemble like some sort of list of like nefarious like anniversaries or so, you know, like the easy ones are...
all the work you're putting into this is so great.
I got so like the Horizon oil rig disaster happened on April 20th. Hitler's birthday is April 20th.
Yeah, really? Oh,
the Columbine school shooting massacre happened on April 20th. There's like all this awful shit that happened on April 20th, and so I just. Yeah, so I've got the bullet point list of like tragedies and nefarious activities, like the Bhopal mining disaster, like all kinds of like crazy shit, and then there's Lisa's birthday.
Oh, so right there,
and I made sure it was in the 60s. Indicating that she would be in her like mid 60s.
Yeah.
So I also have to remind her she's old. Like some years I'll send her like a video of like the Golden Girls opening scene.
Thank you for being a friend.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it's very much appreciated, right? It's like, oh, this is so great. Thank you.
As everyone knows, mockery is my love language.
That's true. That is absolutely true.
That's what Catholic school will do to you.
Yeah. As I've heard. I've heard so many times.
Yeah. So anyway.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the Rock Guitar Confidential podcast with Ryan and Scott. Please make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. Please make sure to also check out our band website at xagesband.com.
Yes, because you all have good taste.
Yes.
Go to www.exagesband.com.
Not good taste, the best taste.
The bestest taste.
There you'll find our links to our social media. Please make sure to follow us on social media, and please come back and check us out next week, and tell a friend, and tell 2 friends, and tell 4 friends, or a lot of friends.
Or tie your friend down and like peel their eyelids apart with forks like a Clockwork Orange
until they listen to the podcast. I don't know why they need eyeballs for listening to the podcast.
Yeah, they wouldn't. Peel their ears open. Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? If we monetize, we'll get cameras involved, and then you can Clockwork Orange your friends.
But you can do the ears in the meantime. Do the ears.
So there's your incentive.
Maybe fingernails. I don't know. Does that help? Does that make them want to listen more? Maybe I don't know.
Well, it's time to go out there and find out, everybody.
We'll find the right method of torture to make people want to listen to us. So.
That's right.
All right. Catch you guys next week. Do well.
Peace.